Hi guys, welcome to Dave C. Straight from the Pit. It's March here in Canada, mid-March. Still pretty cold out. Still get snow. It's about -10 today, so I figured I'd come outside and do a little bit of a diorama with some Arctic Joes. And also brought out some of the tanks I have. And I'd like to do a bit of a review on the 1985 Mauler today and the 1982 or 83 G.I Joe Mobat. They're kind of like the two most pure tanks that G.I Joe had in the 1980s. I mean, there were other ones like the Havoc that came out in 86, the Slugger that came out in 84, and different various ones. Small tank like the Armadillo in 85. And yeah, anyway, probably missed a couple, but as far as I am concerned and was concerned as a kid, a true tank looked something like this. Like it had to have a big cannon with some massive treads and like a real tank. So yeah, we can go back inside and start a review. Okay, let's get back into the pit here. Get all nice and warm. Started to set up some things already that I wanted for this review. Oh, awesome. Looks like Snake Eyes made me a hot chocolate. Oh, that's great. Thanks, Snakes. So, like I was saying earlier outside, 1980s had a lot of G.I. Joe vehicles, of course, and there were a few of them that kind of looked like tanks and could have been used as tanks, but they weren't really, 100% tanks. So this video, I kind of wanted to show all the Joe stuff from the 1980s that is sort of a tank, but not really. And then also include the main two I want to talk about, which is the Mauler MBT tank, which is the 85 one, and the Mobat from 1982. So as you can see here on the flag, I've got the Mobats there, and I've got the Mauler. There was the 1983 Wolverine, which is sort of a tank, because you can see there it has the tank treads, but it has a missile system on top, and not a turret with a large cannon. So I kind of don't really call that a tank. And then in 1984, we had the Slugger, and there's a couple of them there. They have a massive howitzer gun, but they're on wheels. So it's not really like a traditional tank that way. And also in 1985, this bridge layer came out, which is a toss and cross. This top piece here, it's a ramp, and it actually folds down. And it's like it creates a bridge, kind of like a World War II type design. Kind of a special machine that they use for crossing rivers in Europe. And this is a modern version of that, and it came with a toll booth. You can see there. But yeah, anyway, this one's kind of not like a battle tank as well, because it does have some cannons on it, but it's not like a standard turret. And then in 1985, we had the little Armadillo come out, and as you can see now that I've panned back a bit, you can see how small it is. So that thing to me was always just a little, maybe a little scout vehicle or something. It was never really a tank. And then in 86, we had the Havoc come out, which does have tank treads, but it's more like a futuristic type thing. It's got these laser cannon type things on the front here. And the entire front canopy is glass, which leaves the drivers pretty vulnerable. I always thought that was kind of weird. And it had this neat um, shuttle that could fly out and could be used for attacks, but it's kind of like more like of a Guy Cassidy experimental project that he had, and not really like a tank. So there's of course the 1988 Rolling Thunder, which has a massive turret, probably the biggest one out of any G.I. Joe vehicle, but it's more of a specialty transport vehicle, transporting these lightning rockets. So I don't really call this like a main battle tank for G.I. Joe. The 85 Snowcat has tank treads, but it's not really a tank. It's more like a specialty vehicle. I wanted to show those ones first, just so that there's no confusion that these ones here, meaning these two in particular, the Mobat and the MBT, are really the G.I. Joe team's main battle tanks. So yeah, in 1982, the G.I. Joe Mobat came out, and it stands for Motorized Battle Tank. And it came with Steeler, and there's Steeler there, a straight arm. Came with an Uzi, same one as Snake Eyes had. And he had a really, really neat visor that I always liked. But yeah, in 83 it also came out, and you can see here the difference is, this is an 83 one, because it has the little notches here that you can see. And the one over here beside Steeler, it doesn't have the notches, as you can see. It's closed, and this is the 82 one. And yeah, so the 83 one had the little notches visible. But yeah, I remember this tank back then, and I really wanted it. And I actually remember in the schoolyard, all the kids talking about it, how they wanted the G.I. Joe tank. And it's kind of a dream for everybody, though, because it wasn't really out yet. We had the commercials up here first, but there were no Mobat tanks on the shelves. So I specifically remember my Aunt Carol saying that she was going to the United States one weekend, and she asked me if I wanted anything G.I. Joe, and she would be down there because the prices were a lot cheaper back then in the United States with $1. So I mentioned that I wanted a G.I. Joe tank, and she said, okay, I'll have a look. So sure enough, she actually was able to get that for me and bring it across the border, and it was totally awesome. It was motorized, so me and my dad put the batteries in. It took 2 D batteries, and there's just a little hatch that you break off and slide it back, and then you pop the batteries in, and you're ready to go. So it was just really fun to play with, and just drove over a lot of stuff, and drove over Cobra guys and all kinds of things. But I'll never forget that my Aunt Carol did that for me. That was really nice of her. All my friends in the neighborhood really appreciated it, because they had only seen it on commercials, but I actually had one. And not until later on they started to arrive in Canada, a few months after. And that's when I realized something else, that I actually had a different file card, because I had an American box and an American file card that I cut out. And I'll tell you a little bit about that in a second. One awesome thing I do have down here in the pit, that's from the box from the 82 Mobat, is the file card. And somebody had cut this one out. This wasn't my original one. This was one that I had found later on, a few years back. But I placed it in this frame here, along with Short Fuse, Scarlet, Snake Eyes. And there's some more guys down there, some Cobras. Got Cobra Commander, the Baroness, Storm Shadow, and Firefly. But anyway, they all look good in this frame. But yeah, back to what I was talking about. This is a Canadian version, and a really, really interesting thing for me about this version is that it says that his birthplace is Hamilton, Ontario. For those of you who don't know, Hamilton is a city in Canada, and it's actually where I was born. So for me as a kid, seeing this, it really got me excited because it made me feel like being a G.I. Joe wasn't that far away, really. Because there was a Joe here, and he was in the coolest vehicle that came out, and he was from Hamilton, where I was born. So that was totally awesome. Now, mind you, the other version, the American one, which obviously a lot of people call the real one, he was born in Pittsburgh, and it says that on the file card. Now, the reason why the Canadian ones had Hamilton is because Hamilton was a major steel manufacturer in the world, and in Canada it was always the biggest one, but it was very similar to Pittsburgh. There's still steel mills there now, but they're not as big as they used to be. But anyway, they made steel for tanks and ammo for World War II and helped contribute defeating the Nazis and defeating the tyranny of the Japanese as well. My grandmother worked there during the war, and she helped manufacture the arms in World War II. And my dad worked there his whole life as an electrician. So did my uncles. So it has a really special place for me, Hamilton. But anyway, yeah, so I thought you guys might like to see that. And as you can see, it says Tank Commander, codename Steeler. File name, Ralph Polanski. Primary military specialty, armor. Secondary military specialty, artillery, transportation. Birthplace, Hamilton, Ontario, or Pittsburgh, PA. Grade, 01. Young, reckless, often clashes with authority, superior officers. But he's one tough soldier. First appeared in the June issue, 1982, of Marvel Comics, right on the cover. And of course everybody knows this comic. It's a classic G.I Joe art drawing. And as you can see there, it says Blockbuster first issue, number 1, June. And I have 4 of these, and I really like them because I remember them back then when I was a kid. And to have them now is really special. And they've gone up in value, but I don't really care about that. I just care about that I have them because they mean something to me, more than money. But anyway, on the back, it actually had the MOBAT and listed some specifics to do with it. And some of the very first Joe comics, they had little pages inside that were inserts, and they explained different vehicles that the Joe team had. And then on issue 5, it was on the cover again, and this issue is really cool because it actually has the tank in it the entire issue. It kind of focuses on the vehicle, and this one came out in November 1982, so a month before Christmas. But yeah, it was called Tanks for the Memories. And we can just flip through it a bit. You can see all the guys are checking out the tank. And I remember this issue, it really features the tank and talks about how special it is and how modernized it is, and pretty much how it's impregnable to attack. Pretty much bomb-proof, explosion-proof, and the whole deal. And I really like these pages with Cobra in it, these early issues. Has a lot of the blue shirts and Cobra officers, and it's really setting up the background for Cobra and Cobra Command. There's Cobra Commander there firing off some rounds at a target. And I remember this one from back then. It's totally awesome. But yeah, back to the tank. There's a parade, and the MOBAT is being showed off in the parade. But Cobra knows this, and they ambushed the Joes. And they see that it's a trap. I love these old ads. Always so cool to flip through an old comic book, an old vintage book, and just smell the pages and yeah, just look at these old ads. Yeah, the band is actually Cobra. So I'm pretty sure they're trying to steal the tank off the Joes. The issue ends with Cobra not being able to acquire the tank, and Cobra Commander actually shooting General Flag. But he survives. And yeah, if you guys are interested in that issue, you should check it out. Here's the box art here for it. Unfortunately, I don't have a real example to show you. But on this poster I have down here, here's the art for it, the Hector Garrido art. And as you can see, there's Steeler in the bubble, the guy I just showed you. And it was a pretty big box. I remember when she brought it back, I was like, whoa, because it was pretty much the biggest vehicle at that time. We're talking 1982 here, so, I mean, there was the Vamp, there was a Howl Laser, and I had both of those. But I didn't have this thing yet, so it was pretty impressive. Here's a closer look at the 85 MBT. And as you can see, it's quite a large tank. It's actually quite a bit bigger than the 82 Mobat. As you can see here at the view, that sticks out quite a bit further, and it's quite a bit taller. It's a really fun tank. Like I said, it's motorized as well. And we're going to see in a bit how much faster it is than the Mobat. I know that it is, but I've never actually tried it against an 82 Mobat. So I'm going to pop some fresh batteries in there. Actually have to go down to the store. It's a bit of a snowstorm out right now, but I think I still might go down and get batteries because I'm kind of itching to do that today. But yeah, it had this kind of unique shape to it, kind of like an Abrams 80s tank, USA tank, and it had these neat grenade launchers on the side that tend to go missing, a tow cable, another grenade launcher set on the side, and two antennas, and a nice suspension system for the treads, mud flaps all the way around, and just a kind of a pleasant kind of a color, nice desert kind of tan color. Could put two guys in the front here. I remember these hatches just come up. There's two hatches here. And came with heavy metal. Here's heavy metal here. One thing I remember about this guy is that he had stubble, like a 5 o'clock shadow. I don't know if you can pick that up there on him. I don't have his mic. His mic is really hard to find because it's so tiny. It was often lost in packaging. And I'll probably never get his mic because people want like ridiculous amounts of money for it now. And I don't really care about it, if I have it or not. But yeah, he's a really nice figure. His colors are very cool. Totally looks like a tank commander, as he is. And here's his file card here. It says Mahler MBT, tank driver, codename Heavy Metal. File name, Sherman Guderian. Primary military specialty, armor. Secondary military specialty, finance. Birthplace, Brooklyn, New York. Grade E4. There are sections of Brooklyn that are less accessible to outsiders than the mountains of Transylvania, In Heavy Metal's old neighborhood, the trip to Manhattan, just across the East River, was considered a major expedition. Aspiring to become middle class was daydreaming, pure and simple. Heavy Metal enlisted to go to finance school, his ultimate goal to become a CPA. But one day at Fort Belvoir, he watched a column of tanks roll by and was never the same again. He put in for a transfer to armor that same day. Qualified expert M16, M1911A1, M2, 50 cal, MG, and M60 MG. Many people find comfort in order and discipline. Mathematics reduces the complexities of the world to manageable sums. Heavy Metal likes tanks. They are immutable statements in iron. I took all the accessories off the top here so they don't fall off, and just removing the battery panel here. I know these batteries are old, so I had them in there when I first got it, and I know that they're lacking, so yeah, I'm going to go down and brave the snowstorm and go get some batteries. Okay, I'm back and got the new batteries. The Mahler takes 4 C batteries, so I got a nice package here of those. So I'll take all these out and replace them with those. And the Mobat, it takes 2 big old D batteries. So I'll flip this one upside down and take this cover off here. Man, this is awesome. I just peeled off this cover for the 82 Mobat and it looks brand new in there, the contacts. So I'm going to put these fresh energizers in, and should be deadly. We'll have a little race. Okay, let's race these guys. Three, two, one. So that wraps it up for another Dave C. Straight from the Pit episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Take care, be well, and